Well, welcome. It is match day. It is a Rangers Thursday night. Time to get excited. Time to get infused. Time to get back under the lights in a European competition. Remember the run to Seville. Remember the run to the Manchester final as well. Rangers have a proud track record in the UEFA Cup. And tonight we'll be seeking to continue that amazing track record. And you know what? I think there's a lot of people out there, given the injuries that we have, given the fact that Benfica are obviously a major European force, are writing Rangers off already. But you know what? That happened on the last run to Seville. Do you remember that game where we went to the Westfalen Stadion? Do you remember how everyone wrote us off before that game and said that Borussia Dortmund would go on to win the Europa League and that Borussia Dortmund would wipe the floor with Rangers? Well, it didn't happen, did it? It did not happen. And, it could very well could history repeat itself again. That is obviously a strong suspicion there. I mean, what was it? 17th of February 2022, I think it was. Rangers 4, Dortmund 2, goals from James Tavernier, Alfredo Morelos, John Lundstrom, and a Zagadou own goal in that game. A fantastic victory that night. Wouldn't it be great to see a repeat of that at the Estadio de la Luz tonight in Lisbon as Rangers go head-to-head with Portuguese giants Benfica? Benfica come into this game with certainly a fearsome reputation in Europe. The fact that they've not apparently lost a Europa League game at the Estadio de la Luz, which was brought up in Philippe Clement's press conference today, has many interesting points, including could Rangers be about to change formation and change shape for tonight's game? Lots of hints dropped in that press conference today, and we'll certainly discuss that and look into it in this video. So, look, this is a big game tonight. It's a huge game tonight for Rangers. It's a huge game across the continent of Europe as two massive giants of European football go head-to-head. The Estadio de la Luz, Benfica coming off the back of having lost 2 games to their biggest rivals in Portugal, in Sporting Lisbon and FC Porto. They lost in the semi-final of the Portuguese Cup to Sporting, and they lost 5-0 in the league to Benfica. So to FC Porto, even, sorry. So this is a team that will want to bounce back, that will want to really push it. They have a very good midfield with Angel Di Maria on the right, Neres on the left, and Goku, the Turkish international, in the 10 role with Silva up front. No, not Fabio Silva, their very own Silva, with Neves and Mario holding. Then they have a pretty scary looking defence as well, with Otamendi, who was sent off on Saturday, Silva, Aranes and Bar was their team that obviously started their last league game. But that threesome behind the midfield is a pretty fearsome sight, and I certainly hope that that Rangers have a plan for dealing with Benfica's width and dealing with Benfica's wide men. Certainly is going to be a fearsome night tonight at the Estadio de la Luz in Portugal. I think what was also encouraging was the fact that when the players and the management staff walked round Benfica Stadium, they were obviously in admiration of the pitch, a pitch that Philippe Clement said is very much like Ibrox, a pitch that you can go out and play football on. So, the pitch will be good, be fantastic, be spot on. Hopefully to see some fantastic attacking football tonight between two teams that do like to play attacking football. Given the fact that obviously the away goals rule is not in existence, this could be a real opportunity to see two teams who are creative, two teams who like to play the attacking side of the game, really go out there and have a go at each other and really put on a decent show for the Euro fans tonight of both Rangers and Benfica. Now, Philippe Clement spoke about a lot of things in his press conference, but one of the things that he repeatedly talked about was obviously the effect that injuries are having on his team. Now, we are missing 4, maybe 5 wingers for tonight's game. Obviously, Seema out. Cortez is not in the Euro squad, but is also out injured. Matondo is out. Ross McCausland is touch and go. Now, apparently he did train today, but he only did the initial warm-up with the team and then did a lot of individual work. He didn't actually train fully with the squad. So it's very doubtful that Ross McCausland would play a full active part tonight. And Philippe Clement did talk about, wanting to see what he was like today. Obviously, he said tomorrow. Yeah, obviously the press conference was yesterday, but he wants to look at what Ross is capable of, and there's a good strong chance, obviously, that Ross will be missing. So, with the fact that we are missing, a massive number of wide players, obviously with Seema out, Matondo out. Cortez, obviously, even though he's not involved in the Euro squad, is out injured. And obviously, as well, Ross McCausland. Could this see a formation change? This was certainly something that Philippe Clement repeatedly mentioned in his presser. Now, since coming to Rangers, Philippe has very much favoured playing with the 4-2-3-1 formation, and a formation we've used in virtually every single game. But he talked, a lot about this need to sort of adapt to and change to suit the players that he's got. And he says we have decisions to make as regards that. It was quite interesting. He says we have a decision to either change the system or play players in a position they are not used to. We come to win. I never play to get a draw. I don't believe in parking the bus. Scottish football. This is not Philippe Clement's word. This is mine. I hope the Scottish football teams are listening. I have never done that, even against PSG and Madrid with smaller teams. I attacked. It'd be interesting, wouldn't it, if teams in Scotland actually went with a more progressive attitude like that and stopped behaving like thuggish Neanderthals, like many of them do against us. But it's interesting overall. That quote was the fact that he says we have a decision to make whether to change system or play players in positions they are not used to. Now, we have in the past done that, haven't we? I mean, Dujon Sterling, obviously, who was signed as a fullback, has certainly filled in admirably in central midfield and on the wing as well. So that could well be an option for Big Phil tonight. But to put players and ask players to do jobs like he's asked Dujon to do jobs, or it could be that we go to a different system. Now, obviously, a complete lack of wingers. Many people have mentioned the possibility of going to three at the back. That, of course, would therefore mean that Ridvan Yilmaz and James Tavernier are most likely, therefore, to become wing-backs. Now, obviously, Tav and Ridvan are very good going forward. Ridvan especially is very good attacking, as is Tav with his delivery and his attacking threat. And this would certainly give them some freedom to get forward. Also, playing three at the back could overcome some of the shortfalls and shortcomings we've seen from Connor Goldson in recent weeks. Obviously, the issue there is that obviously Leon Balogun is not in the European squad, and certainly a back three of Goldson, Suter, and Balogun would be extremely strong. It would be a likelihood that Ben Davies may have to play, but Davies obviously has not featured at very often due to injury. So there could be some doubts over using even that three at the back system, or even possibly dropping Lunny back into play as part of three. Now, I had a little think about this earlier. This is what I came up with. Now, this is obviously very adaptable. I'll speak about obviously possible changes we could make here. Now, it may be that he's not even thinking about three at the back. He may be thinking of a 4-3-3 or a 4-4-2 or some other derivative of the formation. Now, I thought of this 3-4-1-2 formation with Suter, Goldson, and Davis at the back. Now, Suter then goes to the right side, which is his more natural side. He is not a left-sided centre back. Hence, probably some of the mistakes that he makes. Connor Goldson in the middle, which gives him a bit more freedom there. That doesn't rely on him, him being out-muscled, out-caught out. He's sort of the free defender there to sort of read and control and communicate, which is arguably his strongest points. Ben Davies comes in on the left-hand side. Now, Ben Davies has been somewhat of a bomb scare for Rangers and a bit of a disaster, but Ben is quite good in Europe. The European game does seem to suit Ben a lot more. There's a lack of physicality that he sees in Scotland. More football is played on the ground rather than through the air, where he's weakest. So, it could be that this suits him. Tav and Ridvan Yilmaz are the wing-backs. Now, I've gone with Jack and Lundstrom. It could equally be Sterling and Lundstrom in the middle there to solidify things and keep things solid against a very attacking Benfica team and sort of try and, nullify some of the threats that their midfielders, like Neres, like Goku, like Di Maria, can bring to this team. So certainly then that could be an option. Tom Lawrence plays in the 10 role, because as Philippe Clement said, in his press conference, we're missing two very creative players in Todd Cantwell and Kieran Dowell. So for me, Tom Lawrence plays. You could equally play Mo Diamande there. Again, another change. Dessers and Silva up front together gives that a bit of a fluidity as well. So that formation could become a 3-4-3 as well. Lawrence could go wide right, Silva wide left, Dessers down the middle. You could have a complete interchange. Silva drops back with Lawrence and it goes to a 3-4-2-1 formation. It gives you fluidity, and like I said the other day on the video, the more fluidity you've got, the more it can pull defenders out of position, and that certainly would give Rangers those options. It could be that he is completely not thinking about a 3 at the back, and he's thinking perhaps of a 4-3-3. Which gives obviously Tav and Ridvan more premise to get forward. Trying to second guess what Philippe Clement is thinking in terms of formation and shape and team selection, it is absolutely impossible. It really is. He is, he is the master rotator. He is the Tinkerman of the modern era, really. Those of you who remember Claudio Ranieri. Now, Philippe Clement, spoke repeatedly about the fact that he wants to win every single game, and there was some indication, as myself and Damien talked about on the podcast, that this game is a bit of a distraction and the focus needs to be on the league. But Philippe Clement talked time and time again about the fact that he does not go into any game to lose or any game to draw. He always goes into every single game to win. And even when a director suggested to him that he might not want to take Europe as seriously and focus on the league, he said sort of slap that suggestion down and say that he was in this to win every single trophy, every single game he was competing for. He is a winner, and that's one of the things we love about Big Phil Clement. He talked about Benfica, and he talked about the fact they are a very good team. He said they have a lot of quality. He says after a defeat like the one we saw on Saturday, we do expect a reaction from them in tonight's game. He says the players want to stand up and react. I don't doubt there will be a really good Benfica team tomorrow. It's a huge challenge, but this is exciting for us. And, I think it is. It's a real chance to test ourselves against one of Europe's big teams. Benfica are a European force. They are a team that has competed in European competitions, Champions League, Europa League on repeated occasions. It does give Rangers a great opportunity to really test themselves against the top European side. He did emphasize as well that we're playing a team that have double our budget. That is incredible. The fact that Benfica have so much more money than us to spend, despite playing in a league that is quite similar to ours in terms of competitiveness. He says, but we really are ambitious and we want to show our quality over the 2 legs and get the result. No different mindset. The only difference is that there may be a game we have less of the ball. And that's something else that he's picked up on repeatedly. The fact that this game, again, is a game where Rangers will be the underdogs, which is very unusual for Rangers, as we usually go into all games as the favourites. He says we miss 4 wingers tomorrow, maybe also Ross McCausland. So, there is a lot of players still missing. He says the hunger and desire is there. If you see the Stadio della Luz pitch, it's like Ibrox. It allows us to play our style. We showed a very strong performance to finish the first in a strong group. We now face another huge challenge against Benfica. He said after our night in Spain against Betis and then winning the League Cup on Sunday, we are all happy. He said this is obviously a huge game, a massive game tonight. A chance for Rangers to really lay down a marker tonight against a very, very fine Benfica team. No matter what team that is selected there by the manager, no doubt that they will go out and give their very best tonight and try and put on a display after 2 more disappointing performances that we've seen in recent weeks against Killy, although we did win that game, and obviously the defeat against Motherwell on Saturday. So it's a chance for some of these players to really turn it round and show the manager they can be counted on. They can stand up when it is required. It's all about getting a fast start. And again, that's something that Philippe Clement joked about. He said, I don't ask my teams to start playing after 30 minutes or after the first half. I expect them to go out from the very first whistle. And, we're going to have to be at it and about it right from the very first whistle tonight. Benfica will be. They'll want possession of the ball. They'll have a lot of the ball, no doubt. We have to really capitalise on our opportunities when they come. Certainly, there is no space for mistakes. Look, it's going to be a tough, tight game. I'm going to go for a 2-2 draw tonight and then take them back and beat them at Ibrox. Although we shouldn't be thinking about Ibrox. Big Phil himself did say in the presser today that he doesn't want to think about that. He wants to focus on tonight. Well, let me know what your predictions are in the comments down below, and let me know what you think about Big Phil suggested we could change formation. I certainly think that it will be a change that could well suit Rangers given the number of injuries that we have. Well, thank you for watching Glasgow Rangers Nation, guys. And as always, if you could do me a couple of favours on the way out. Number one, smash the like. And number two, always remember, please never forget, we are the people.